The construction of the school began about 18 months ago. Ask him about his role. High above the earth. Raise your book above your head. According to the government official, according to the broadcast, 12 people were killed in the accident. Travel across the Asian continent. Fly balloons across the ocean. Soon after his arrival at the airport, I was thirsty after a long walk. Against their wish. His act was against the law. Defend the country against the enemy. Walk along the stream. Somewhere along this river. Amid the present inflation. Amid an economic slump. Among fellow citizens. Among major industrial nations. They sit around the fountain. I often walk around the neighborhood. As a leading politician, as a first step. Entertain guests as the host. As a result of the tests. Prep Exercise 2, Preposition 2. I usually get up at 7. At the top of a steep slope. We were surprised at the news of his death. At the same time. Because of his strong character. Because of a difference of opinion. Several minutes before landing. An exciting game before a crowd of 10,000. He tried to hide something behind him. The country is far behind Japan in science. 30 degrees below zero. Your record is below average. Sometime between August and October. Improve relations between Japan and the Soviet Union. Tour the district by car. Spend a pleasant time at a hotel by the lake. Unite two families by marriage. Prices are expected to go down by the end of this year. During an 80-day voyage around the world. During the talks they reached a broad agreement. For a 150-day period. Mainly for health reasons. Useful for mankind. Leave Tokyo for Moscow to spend a vacation. Win the Nobel Peace Prize for 1985. Prep Exercise 3, Preposition 3. Return to Tokyo from Manila. From the bottom of my heart. The distance from the station to our school. A mountain district in central Japan. It is cool in the shade. The heaviest snowfall in February. The high-ranking U.S. official has arrived in Tokyo. Books in foreign languages. In front of the conference hall. Wait for her in front of the office. Divide the students into 3 classes. An idea came into my mind. A stone image of Buddha. An effective use of the money. One of the key industries in Japan. The length of the swimming pool. Some of the children look a little too fat. Fall off a cliff. A fishing ground off the island. The event begins on September the 16th. He lay down on the ground. A heated discussion on the policy. Depend entirely upon the results of future study. Keep out of the water. The ship sailed out of Tokyo Bay. Prep Exercise 4, Preposition 4. The plane flew over the Himalayan peaks. My leg hurts since I jumped over the fence. The huge power plant over there. March through downtown Tokyo. The river flows through this city, at least until the beginning of the next century. Put off the goodwill match until tomorrow. Give economic assistance to the country. The Tigers defeated the Giants 3-2. Offer a formal invitation to the President. His novel was very interesting to me. He praised Japan's policy toward China. Take a friendly attitude toward them. A man playing the guitar under a tree. A big hole under the ground. Under the leadership of the new Prime Minister. Be built with Japanese help. A blind woman with a guide dog. Tie them with string. A man with an ugly face. Japan's trade relations with Thailand. Within the neutral zone. Settle the problem within 2 months. The meeting ended without agreement. Let me do it without your help. Prep Exercise 5, Conjunction 1. Soon after he entered the room. 2 days after we heard the sad news. After the country won its independence. Although my dog seldom bites. Although the shop opens every day except Monday. As I said earlier, as it is cloudy today, as the proverb says, time is money. As you know, the meeting was cancelled. The incident occurred as he was speaking. As far as I know, it is possible to go there. As far as I can tell, he will run for the local election. She looked as if she had seen a terrible scene. He ordered them as if he were the leader. As long as the volcano is active, as long as the Gulf War continues, because my head aches, because the lawyer is my friend, because the book is published next month, 4 days before the Chinese Prime Minister arrives in Tokyo, before both sides sit at the same table, even if the students failed in the examination, even if their differences are settled. The spokesman, however, did not comment on the reports. However excellent he is. Prep Exercise 6, Conjunction 2. Correct errors if there are any. You'll lose your credit if you repeat such a mistake. It is not known if the country will accept the invitation. Since the school was established 4 years ago, since the living standard is very high, she stressed that she would do her best. It is certain that he failed the exam. You cannot deny the fact that he is dead. I was disappointed that she had not come. Though it is very difficult, though the hospital is very distant, unless an agreement is reached by November the 30th, unless we find out what the problem is, until this dirty room is cleaned, until all doubts are cleared. Whatever the weather, I'll go tomorrow. Whatever you may think, the teacher is fair to us. When this thick fog clears, when the twin-engine plane landed at the airport, call me whenever you feel lonely. Don't forget to pray wherever you are. I didn't know whether it was expensive or not. I wonder whether this is his final decision. Imports grow while exports drop. Stay here while she takes a meal. Prep Exercise 7, Compliment. Villagers call him a brave man. He found the books covered with dust. We felt the house shake. I heard the wind blowing. I saw many people passing by. She left the daughter weeping. I heard my name called loudly. I found the theatre crowded. Make China a wealthy country. I saw him hit the cat for amusement. Elect Ronald Reagan President of the United States. Always keep your body relaxed. I like my steak medium. In order to keep the kitchen clean. The training made his weak character strong. I consider her beauty remarkable. He was thought to be honest. I believe the report to be groundless. We consider the situation to be grave. We expect you to be honest. You cannot expect him to be moral. I found his illness to be serious. I found the chair to be comfortable. No one believes him to be stupid. Don't expect her to be perfect. Prep Exercise 8, Relative 1. People who were born after World War II. Scholars who are attending the meeting. A man who ran away with $10,000. The grave of a foreigner who died in this town. A group of people who started a human rights movement. Tourists who arrived in Yokohama aboard the ship. Students who were arrested during the demonstration. A professor who made a speech on the situation in the Far East. She visited her husband who was working abroad. Look for a foreigner who will help improve our English. We welcome anyone who honors our rules. This book is about a doctor who found a cure for the disease. Take care of the first-grade pupil who is weeping. I cannot forgive a person who stole flowers from the garden. Send food to the people who lost their houses in the earthquake. A foreigner who lost his passport is asking for help. Mr. Smith, who is head of the team, says, an American novelist who visited Hanoi writes that the actress whom I like best is married. The next regular meeting, which opens in December. A series of talks which began last June. Japan's new economic plan, which starts next year. The cause of the explosion which killed 14 people. A political party which has only 10 seats in Parliament. The watch which I bought yesterday was stolen. Prep Exercise 9, Relative 2. Solve unemployment, which is very severe. This is an ordinary case which can be seen almost every day. Cross the river, which is about 100 meters wide. He won an 800-meter race which took place in Italy yesterday. A fire which burned down the building is now under control. Mainly talk about the summit which is scheduled for September. At first I didn't enjoy his music, which I later found excellent. Fix the date of his visit, which is important in improving ties. I like the latter part of the novel, which is about the war. The labor union, which was formed last month, will join Sohyo. West Germany, which is a major coal-producing country. The biggest earthquake that has hit this district. The largest industrial project that the two countries have jointly completed. The best plan that will help modernize the country. It was in Geneva that I bought this watch. what they call a democratic country. What he suggests is an ideal solution to the problem. What is most important to us is this what you mean? This is what we are looking for. This wet season is what we call tsuyu. Cancer is what he fears most. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. Many people are in favor of the politician whose policy is attractive. I met a friend whose name I had forgotten. Prep Exercise 10, Relative 3. The country with which Japan maintains stable relations. A conference at which the Korean situation was discussed. A reliable source from which we received the information. A nationwide radio network on which his speech was broadcast. The bus on which we were riding hit a tree. I remember the fire in which nearly 100 houses were destroyed. The day when my grandfather's funeral was held. Since Sunday, when he lost contact with us. Over the weekend, when the house is vacant. The time has come when we should fight together. Vegetable prices rose sharply in January, when we had a lot of snow. I don't know the exact time when this was announced. Do you remember the day when he won the championship? A place where a nuclear power plant will be constructed. The area of sea where the fishing boat sank. Japan, a country where land is so limited. The area where many Vietnamese soldiers are staying. The state guest house where the ceremony is scheduled to be held. That is the hotel where the scientist hit on the idea. She visited her daughter's tomb, where she prayed for a long time. He left for Manila, where he will meet the president. The reason why they oppose the government policy. The reason why she doesn't want to graduate from the university. We don't know the reason why he is so angry. That's why football fever was cooled. Prep Exercise 11. Omission of Relative 1. The ambition he had before. An anti-nuclear campaign they're planning. Difficulties we find in learning foreign languages. The friend I was driving with. The money they use to buy drugs. The illness she is suffering from. All the information I need. The National Museum we visited the other day. Accept help they offered. The birth of a baby panda we have been looking forward to. The anniversary they are celebrating. A private company he is working for. A voluntary campaign we plan. Public support he won in the election. Pacific countries the group will tour. A political meaning I didn't understand. The professional baseball team he likes most. Raw materials Japan imports from the country. Various flowers she grows. The shallow river children are swimming in. A political party he belongs to. Sweet smell this flower has. The deepest sorrow she has ever felt. The edge of a cliff I'm standing on. The so-called Golden Week we have at this time every year. Prep Exercise 12, Omission of Relative 2. A sense of humor she has. The bad taste this food has. A spirit of adventure the boy has. A farm the man has in the suburbs of the city. a tough problem Japan is facing. Industrial products the country exports. Very strong personality his brother has. Vegetables they grew in rich soil. During the talks he and Mr. Smith held with the group. Oppose any plan they make. Wind up an old watch I repaired. You can choose any one you like. Fortunately, he found the fountain pen he had lost. The announcement they made alarmed us. The price the government offered angered him. The bomb they were carrying in their car exploded. The book I bought was very cheap. The countries we toured last month include Britain and France. Will you please explain the incident you happened to see? The dream I had last night was funny. The man I met yesterday invented it. Don't miss any chance you get. The stone I threw broke a window of the newly built house. Have you received the book I sent to you a week ago? The plane he took flew to New York via Anchorage. Prep Exercise 13, Infinitive 1. A house to live in. Have the right to know the truth. Make an effort to create a better society. International efforts to end the Iran-Iraq war. A group of experts to study the ancient city. Bring me a tool to open it with. Build a huge tank to store oil. Someone to fill the vacant post. A plan to collect 100 yen per person. An agreement to produce passenger cars in the United States. There is something to gain from the experience. You have no need to wait here. Visit the newly established republic to celebrate its independence. Rub 2 sticks to make fire. Rewrite the whole story to make it clearer. She rejected his offer to show her anger. Try to avoid further trouble. Try to improve my swimming. Agree to increase efforts to open the Japanese market. Refuse to sell arms to the country. Refuse to accept the offer. Ask the government to protect human rights. Invite the president to visit Japan. Stop to ask the way to the library. She was too ashamed to speak. Prep Exercise 14, Infinitive 2. To obey the law is our duty. It's fun to dive into the sea. It is your duty to finish this work. It is necessary for you to see a doctor. It is important to prevent such an accident from occurring again. Perhaps it is not correct to say so. He refused to take the dangerous job. He often forgets to turn off the light. Don't forget to prepare for the examination. I want to have something else. I want to ask you several questions. She wanted me to wipe the table. He promised to do his best to restore his lost honor. She began to weep again after a short interval. He again failed to keep a promise. He happened to see the horrible scene. He seems to be quite healthy. The difference in their opinions seems to have widened. Don't allow them to continue to smash the windows. She advised her son to be careful. The president added that he hoped to visit Japan some day.